Hello, Groveland Township. Today I'd like to take this opportunity to talk to our residents about a project that we think has some great potential for our community. For years we've been burdened with the gravel pits around here and the associated trucking complaints and noise complaints and problems that go with them. Some of the pits are not even in Groveland, but we receive all of the traffic and the noise issues associated with them. For example, Holly Disposal, which is the pit located west of Mount Holly, directly behind it, is actually across the township border into Holly Township, yet we get all of the traffic up Holdridge Road. Not only are these sites usually considered a detriment to our residents, but in the past there have been at least 3 formal requests for consideration to put landfills in our township. The first one was on the township property right at Grange Hall Road and I-75 when Stablex Corporation wanted to put a toxic landfill material site in there. If you recall, back in the 70s we spent over $400,000 in 1970s dollars fighting that situation to keep that landfill out, and frankly we were lucky that we were able to persevere in it. We've also had a request by the pit on the south side of Mount Holly to be considered for a landfill, and we have had a formal request from Holly Disposal, the pit located behind Mount Holly, to be included in the last full review of the solid waste plan in 1999 by the county. And for those of you who don't know, the township's not actually the institution that approves landfills. They formally get approved by the county in which they're located, and then the Department of Natural Resources has a division up in Lansing which reviews the site plans of the landfill to see if they comply with their rules. But the approval is not by the local municipality, it's actually by the county. What the township strived for in the last 30 years is to try and find a way to turn this area into something positive for our residents. The area is basically bordered by Grange Hall on the south, Holdridge Road on the north, I-75 on the west, and Dixie Highway on the east. We would like to find something that would allow for an improved quality of life for our residents and provide an escalated closure to the pit activity that's in that area. Several previous proposals have been made for some of this property in the past, and you may have recalled we had a couple that we were looking at very seriously back in the 2007 time frame. But with the collapse of the economy in 2008, all of those plans vaporized rather quickly. That is until recently. Recently we've been approached by the Department of Parks and Recreations for Oakland County in conjunction with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for a proposal to build a large multi-use outdoor family-oriented recreation complex. At this time the discussions have been very positive, and they are aware of what Groveland Township wants in order to participate. Attached in this video are some individual photos as well as some short videos provided by Oakland County Parks of some of the activities that they would anticipate being included in this facility. Now, at this point in time, there have been discussions with the 7 principal property owners that are involved in this area, and all of them have indicated an interest in pursuing the discussions further. But I need to emphasize it's a long way from where we are today until the time when an agreement's actually reached with the property owners and a park is actually potentially built. If I were to say that this is the entire timeline and here's the beginning and here's the end, we're probably right about here, where we've got good interest and a willingness to discuss these options to see if we can make the project move forward. To that end, to further pursue the feasibility, the township has suggested that there be some very limited testing done on the site and a couple of different activities planned. Those activities are going to give us an opportunity to gauge what might be problems or not problems with the facility and any changes or suggestions that we have to make as we go through additional discussions. The video is intended here today to give our residents an opportunity to contact us and make suggestions on what they think we should consider in our future discussions so that we might see if it's appropriate to try and add it to the discussion for possible consideration in the park. As always, we plan to use this venue on the cable channel as well as local newspapers and other means to keep you informed of any tangible developments that actually take place. So please watch the attached video here. Look at what Oakland County feels the park might be used for, and don't hesitate to contact us either by phone, email. You can contact me at supervisor@grovelandtownship.net, or you can come in and visit us, and for your convenience, for those who don't know, we're open late on Wednesdays till 7 o'clock, and I'd be happy to meet with you and talk about any concerns or suggestions that you might have. In summary, we want to put an end to the negative impacts of the gravel operations here as soon as is feasibly possible. We'd like to put something in place that would actually enhance the values of the homes. I'm sure most of you that live near the facilities would indicate that the gravel pits are kind of a negative and probably have a bad impact on the value of your home. If we can put recreational activities in, it should go from a negative to a positive, as most studies indicate that recreational activities and quality of life issues tend to add 5 to 20% to the value of a home compared to the negative impacts of the gravel pits we have today, or even worse, potentially some of the uses that they've been suggested for in the past and could be suggested for again in the future. So I hope you'll watch the rest of this video as we go through some of the activities, and I'll narrate some of the issues that the county has sent us for your consideration and review. First of all, we were recently approached, as I said, by the Oakland County Parks and Recreation Commission about a proposal from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources to acquire some of the gravel mines in our community for the purposes of creating an adventure recreation park. And at this point, I'd like to say that a lot of the property in our area in the gravel pits, like the township's own property, Nick Nichols, Farmer Nick's property, and Gibraltar Sand could probably easily be developed for a number of different issues. But some of the pits that we don't have the same kind of control over, like the property south of Mount Holly and the property behind Mount Holly that's in Holly Disposal's handling, are not able to be developed, I think, as easily as some of our parcels are. So with their help, they would like to apply for funding from acquisition dollars available in the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund. This is a place where Michigan deposits funds from the royalties for the gas and oil exploration throughout the state, and those funds are made available to add additional recreational facilities and purchase land by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for the purpose of creating recreational venues for our citizens. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources feels that we have a good chance for the project to be funded because the proposal calls for the creation of recreational attraction, including extreme mountain biking, trail running, and the creation of an off-road vehicle course for highly technical slow-speed driving. There are even plans to create a cable-driven wakeboard operation on a lake that we're going to develop on the township property so that you can have water activities without the associated noise with speedboats and so forth. I told them that in order for our community to be a part of this operation, we would have to address some pretty important issues for our residents and businesses, and namely that they would consider community recreational benefits, economic benefits, and the impact on the quality of life. We would sorely like to eliminate the gravel pit activity as soon as possible and all the noise associated with those trucks. The staff of both the Department of Natural Resources and Oakland County Recreational Park came back to me with a proposal that I think can benefit our community if it's done right and they proceed correctly. First of all, the park staff are not just proposing an ORV park, but rather they are proposing a mixed use that would complement the continued development of Groveland Oaks County Park and the fact that we have about 8,000 acres of state recreation area already in our township. For example, the parks will be evaluating both future site and the existing park for hosting soccer fields, cross-country races, and other activities. Both would help meet local needs while creating opportunities for our local schools to host tournaments. The parks have also been interested in creating a winter sports park for years. This has the topography and the water resources that could even accommodate potential tubing hills as with snowmaking equipment in the future. What an opportunity for our residents to complement some of the existing family uses that will be at Mount Holly. I was also interested that the park has proposed to lease a portion of the township property still owned by the township, and is particularly interested in creating opportunities for cable wakeboarding and water skiing. This would be a unique area in giving our residents an opportunity to use some water recreation that's currently not available. If we can develop the lake to about 35 to 40 feet deep, it would even be possible to have some underwater scuba diving activities. Providing technical trails and obstacle courses for off-road vehicles is another interesting aspect of the proposal. Providing a safe, legal, well-regulated experience tucked in the bottom of the deepest pits near the expressway seems like the best way to allow this use to take place for our residents and visitors in an area without changing the character of our community. Most of those back two pits are located adjacent to I-75, might be very hard for any other kind of development, are located about 70 feet below grade and located behind Mount Holly and large burns. The focus of this proposal is to create the opportunity that's specifically for full-sized 4x4s and new side-by-side units, which are generally street-legal units with full mufflers. And they are growing in popularity. The park would consider opening portions of that site to additional ORV uses at a later date. I have seen this sort of ORV use, and I think it really is ideal for this area, particularly in the property in its early phases of development. Slow speeds, highly technical driving that could even accommodate opportunities for vendors to give rides to folks who don't have this sort of equipment. In addition, the county has proposed an overall branding campaign to promote not just this park, but the Groveland Oaks Park, as well as the recreational area here, up and down the Dixie Highway. Basically the area between I-75 crossing Dixie and Springfield and up to exit 106 where it crosses I-75 again. Rather than drastically changing the land use in our community, they've suggested that we capitalize on all the recreational activities we already have and promote the mixture of scenic view and local businesses. The activities that will be temporarily tested on this, which they're calling the Dixie Gully Run, will be used to make sure that they can demonstrate the viability of an adventure park concept. Oakland County will be using a special use permit to host an invitational event on the site, and if the interest is there, I anticipate that we'll be applying for a second event sometime in the fall, open to the public. This will give us an opportunity to test for noise and any other issues that might have to be considered in future discussions. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources will find out if there is funding for the acquisition starting in December of this year. If funded, they could work with the county parks to begin the creation of a recreational opportunity for this site. For our community, that means more recreational choices. It means the likely increase in property values as recreational access, local services increase, and the number of gravel trains starts to decrease. I hope you'll take this opportunity to watch this video a couple times for the different activities we've highlighted, and then get in touch with me or anyone at the office. As I said, feel free to call or contact me via email, or feel free to stop in the office, and if it's inconvenient for you during the day, we're open on Wednesday evenings till 7 o'clock. Until the next video, Groveland, we look forward to hearing from you as we continue on our preliminary discussions with Oakland County and the Department of Natural Resources on hopefully an end to some of the gravel activities that have been the most annoying in our area, and an increase in some of the recreational activities. Have a great day and let us know what your thoughts are. Thank you.